Welcome to The House, a real estate podcast that breaks down all the walls and helps create your open floor plan to success. We sit down with the movers, the shakers, and everyone in between to hear their stories and how to build success in this world. So draw up those building plans and start pulling permits, because this is The House and we're breaking ground now.
Welcome back to The House Podcast, episode number
29.
I'm your host, Josh Handler, one of the founders of the Handler Zimmerman team over at Keller Williams in Massapequa. Everyone is saying this market is hot, hot, hot. Prices are still up and their rates are on the downswing. Everyone is asking, is it ever going to stop? And if so, when? Our guest today, my opinion, is the new school of mortgages. And by that, I mean what he gives realtors to grow their business. He's holding one of the biggest events Long Island has probably ever seen for real estate and business professionals, the Entrepreneur Conference. He does rehabs, and honestly, I don't know something he doesn't do. So welcome to the hot seat, Ryan Riddle, Director of Sales, Cliffco Mortgage.
I appreciate it. That's the best introduction I've ever got.
That was a pretty good one, right?
Pretty
I'm
good.
trying to up it every single time, and sometimes it's a flop, and sometimes it comes out really good.
That was good, man. Appreciate that.
So thanks for coming. I appreciate it. So honestly, this is the first time I think other than when I came to JB's event for Carp,
Yeah.
I think that's the first time we met, but this is the first time connecting. So, I really tip my hat to everything you do. You hustle, you do so many different things, and for such a young age, you don't really find that very often, right? So what did you do before, doing stuff with Cliffco, and before, you decided I'm going to throw one of the biggest fucking events ever? What did you do way before all this even happened?
So it's funny. So I think like everybody's got a pretty crazy story before it, but mine was kind of like a blessing in disguise. So when I was, so I actually went to culinary school. I was in the restaurant business, went to culinary school.
Dude, every single
Everybody,
person.
right?
I was partners in 2 restaurants before I got into real estate.
Which
yeah.
ones?
So Calda in Massapequa.
Oh yeah. My dad actually did the signs there.
You
I think
did?
I said something to you
Oh,
about it. Yeah.
so Calda in Massapequa, and then New York Burger Bar in Massapequa on Merrick Road.
Also.
And then I got out of both of them and went real estate full time. It's
All right, so
every
we'll
single.
talk about the restaurants after.
Yeah, we'll talk about restaurants after. Go.
But, so I was in the restaurant business, went to culinary school. It's my passion. I love it. I love entertaining. I love having people. Always wanted to do it. When I was 21, my girlfriend, who was my wife at the time, we found out she was pregnant. So I was like 21.
So wifed her up.
Yeah. I was just about to buy into the restaurant that I was managing at. And, during... right, it was like everything started falling apart right when I found out. So I found out, right, we were doing a renovation. I get into a fight with the owner at that time. Not a fight, just like...
It always goes down at the same time.
I'm back and forth. And, so I left there and I got another job. I worked for Houlihan's. I was the youngest manager they had in like corporate history, whatever. And there for a short period of time. I got recruited by somebody else, and I was only there for a short period of time. And I'm like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. It's either I'm opening up my own place or I'm going on my own. At that time, I was already flipping a couple of houses. And... so I made the decision. At this point, I'm like 23. It's like, do I put all my money into a restaurant or do I do something else?
Dude, restaurant business is fucking brutal.
Brutal. You gotta have it in your blood. If you
Like,
don't have it in your
I
blood,
loved it for so long, but I got to the point where I was like so burnt out, I started not liking it as much.
Yeah.
You miss all your events, and if you're not there, you feel like it's not going properly, and you want to be there all day. So you're working, 100 hours a week.
And then everybody comes in and sees you, and you give away everything for free.
Yeah, and then all your friends come in. Oh, we wanted to come check you out, and then you feel like you can't. Here you go. Enjoy a chicken parm. This is on me. Yeah, So everything is for free. You miss all the events, and even though you're an owner, a partner, a shareholder, whatever you want to call it, there's some type of ceiling. For the most part, the restaurant is going to make X, give or take 10% a week, whatever you want to call it. You're going to be in that ballpark.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what made me take the jump into real estate, because you're your boss regardless. If I was a partner in the restaurant or I'm the owner of real estate,
Yep.
you have no ceiling though. If you bust your ass, you don't get a salary, whatever. So it's a little uncomfortable for some people, but the sky's the limit. You
don't get a salary at a pizza,
if
restaurant, anything.
Right, no matter what, what you are. So, but you could literally, as much as work as you want to put in, you could make $500,000 a year if you want. Yeah. You can make $100,000 a year, or you could do 3 deals and you make your $50,000, whatever you want, whatever you want to do, you can do.
Yeah.
Which is really what kind of pushed me over that hump of like, let's just go for it.
Yeah. That's what it was for mortgages. I was, I didn't want to go dump all my money into the restaurant business. I already flipped a couple of houses. My father-in-law introduced me to Adam, one of the owners of Cliffco now, and he was like, "Hey, listen, I got a house for us to do. You know, they actually did my mortgage. It was horrible. It's not like that anymore. It was the worst experience.
Are they
like
new, Cliffco, by the way? Like
oldest mortgage bank on Long Island.
Oldest mortgage on Long Island. And you see, and honestly, until I met you,
No one knows.
never even heard of them.
Yep.
So I'm like, when you say like they're the oldest, like same thing. Like Cardinal is very new to Long Island.
Yeah.
So
But they're actually owned by a hedge fund that's been
Yes.
around for a really long time.
So it's like
I've never heard of that either.
you never heard of, like, you just don't know these things, and then all of a sudden people are like, oh, where's your pre-approval from? And I would be like, Cardinal, or they're like, you know, when we get stuff from you, once I met you, I'd be like, yo, I just got a pre-approval from Cliffco. Like, is this legit? Like, are these people like real?
this?
Like, this guy like does, can I accept this guy's offer? Because you like, who are these people?
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's funny. That's
I'm sure you got to get that a lot.
all the time. All the ones that don't know us, like if we hit a new territory, but that, you know, that happens to us all the time because we're always breaking into new neighborhoods, new states, new, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it always happens. You know, but I was flipping my house and I was like, yo, you're gonna get in the mortgage business. I'm like, nah, I'm not a salesman, man. I'm good. And he's like, all right, well, I got a house. Come check it out. I get to the office. He's like, all right, you saw the mortgages. And I'm like, all right, let me give it a try. First year of the business, I absolutely hated it. I don't know if I was gonna make it through.
Main question: how many attempts did it take to pass the test?
3 times.
Dude, it's the hardest test I've ever. That's the hardest test ever.
I failed by 1 question the first time. I failed by 2 questions the first time. I failed by 1 question the second time, and I passed by 1 question the third time.
Dude, I took it twice. I failed both times by like 4 or 5 questions. I'm like, forget it. I'm done.
Now they pass on the first time. It makes me. I still don't understand how that.
It's like the hardest thing I've ever taken in my entire life.
No, it's tough.
So I always like to ask loan officers when they get their license how many times it took them to pass.
How many times?
I haven't passed yet.
No?
I just stayed at LOA. I said I'm staying with real estate full time. I was like, I don't even care. I don't want my full license.
Good move.
I was like, I'm done.
Good move. You know, so then I started the mortgages. First year was really tough. Second year, Adam and myself put our heads together. I was, you know, instantly in the business. I knew where I wanted to take it. I started recruiting 6 months into the business. People had no club. I was in the business for 6 months. I started recruiting year 2. We put our head together.
And that's you just trying to grow a team like
Yeah.
for yourself at that time.
Yeah, exactly. And now I'm 3.5 years in, and you know, this year, team's going to do a little over 250 million.
That's wild.
You know, I have my own operations team. You know, I trained all my own 5 processors. I have my own opening department. I handle my own closing, and I actually, you know, the text message I was just doing, we just hired our own underwriter. So I built a full bank inside of
A bank.
Yeah.
So how'd you get in 3 years from LO to director to everything that you're running, you know, now?
Just numbers, man. You know, so what a lot of people do is as soon as you start making money, you spend money.
Yep.
I still really haven't taken that much money out. You know, and I keep putting it in, I'm putting it in, I'm putting it in, and it's paying off. Where I'm up to like 40 people on the team.
That's awesome.
I'm opening up 2 new branches. By the end of the year, we'll be in another state. You know, and all those branches underneath me.
That's sick.
You know, and it's just the vision. But you know, now I'm getting into a whole new section of my business where it's not. I don't even want any more business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I have enough of that. I can't.
Like you're not out there trying to recruit.
I'm only recruiting loan officers. I don't want direct. Not that I don't want, but
Right.
I'm not going after that direct business. Whatever falls on my lap.
Gotcha.
You know, so. You know, some posts went out about the numbers that I'm doing this year. You know what I love, actually? The best thing I ever got is I got a system that says what everybody does. So as soon as when I meet with someone and they're like,
Dude, so many people. I mean,
all
it's the
smoke
same
and mirrors.
thing for like real estate. A lot of people post all this shit.
Yeah.
Sold on the contract. That guy's done like 2 deals the entire year if he's
it
done
was
any.
the same one he did in the beginning of the year. He's posting.
Yeah, he
again.
posted again, or he's just randomly posting shit like, oh, I'm slam busy. Listen, I get it. You want to try to build yourself up in the
course.
beginning. You know, sometimes you need that, just show that you're busy, even though like you're not busy to get the ball rolling when you're brand new. But eventually, like, you got to be real.
You gotta-
You know, you can't be fake forever.
No.
And I feel like so many loan officers also mention names we won't mention, but they do the same shit.
I call them fake agents.
Yeah, it's true. Like they'll be like, "Oh, I'm doing multi-million-dollar deals, you know, running branches, this and that." Meanwhile, they have no team, you have no branch, you just yourself,
Yeah.
and you do, if you're lucky, $1 million a month.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're lucky if you're doing 2 loans a month.
Yeah.
Like, stop with your nonsense.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy. It happens in real estate too. It's like people are just so full of it. It's
Yeah.
wild.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
They'll always be out there. But
100%.
you know,
But
a lot of it's smoke and mirrors.
leaning into what you were saying, you know, you're not really focusing on, you know, building that aspect of it. You know, obviously you're taking the loan officers that come to you and, you know, if they're a good fit, etc. But the route that you're going with the whole social media and the production, I think is, you know, so like genius, honestly, because it's the same thing for like a lot of brokers. Like I like to compare like mortgage companies and like brokers, like very similar, but a lot of people leave brokerages because they don't offer their agents anything. They just keep taking 10%, 20%, 50%, whatever their numbers are that they have worked out, but they don't offer them anything to stay. So once you get to the point where I don't need the brokerage, they look for a better split somewhere and they leave because they're not using them and they're not giving them any value.
Exactly.
So when you started doing like all the social media stuff and you give that to all the, agents that, you work with, hey, listen, it's not cheap, to have good editors, to have all these cameras, like these are thousands and thousands of dollars, time of editing, like nothing's cheap. Like these guys at EPM, like they freaking, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Right. So to literally have something given to them.
Come on, lower the price.
Yeah, guys, lower the price, man. We got to work that in, But literally it's like, it's expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive.
And a lot of realtors, I think it's so important for new realtors to be on social media, but a lot of new realtors don't have the money to do so.
So I was a ghost. Before I started mortgages, I was going to delete all my social media.
Worst thing you would have done, probably.
Worst thing I would have done. So, a goal of mine when COVID hit was like, I'm gonna have the number one social media. I'm gonna be number one social media in 2020. COVID hit, business got slammed. Towards the end of 2020, I hired my own videographer. It just became a lot to manage, and I'm going another route with that everybody will know after the conference. But anybody who's not doing anything on social media, and I don't even put up good stuff. I just did a podcast the other day. Overnight, I got 12,000 views on it.
Dude, the thing that I've learned, the stuff that you freaking work on for a week straight, you get one view. And the shit that you put together in like 30 seconds get thousands. It makes absolutely zero sense. Zero sense.
I did another post. So he texted me. He was like, look how many views. And I'm like, dude, who the fuck is clicking to watch me?
Yeah.
Like
people, it's crazy. Some things just go viral like that, and some things are like total duds. And that's why I tell everybody, just put out content.
Yeah.
Regardless if you think it's good, bad, don't worry about taking 10 takes. Just put it out.
No, you're good at it. You do that. Me, I'm still self-conscious.
They make it look good.
I'm going over that hump. I'm getting over that hump. But going into why I'm doing it is for the loan officers and the company and the people that are working directly with me, because I'm trying to give them that limelight. Like no one else, at any other company. Yeah, no. So to tap into it a little bit. Sorry guys, but I partnered in a media company, and it'll come out a little bit more with it, but opening up an 8,000 square foot studio, 9 different studio sets. Like, really, I'm keeping it for my referral partners. We're not doing business like outside, but
right. It's more now. Your loan officers, when they're going to pitch realtors to come work with them,
come in.
Hey, listen, I got.
I can't service everybody, right? We got 80 loan officers, but to come in when they're doing a training or here and there, drips and drabs, we can do it. We're not really doing much outside business, but it's just for our company, our loan officers. We have enough. We have too much work ahead of us with just the loan officers that we have, right? To take it anywhere else. But, we want to give that to our loan officers. We have a 50-person training center, right? In our building, we have a gym. We have a restaurant coming in. We have everything coming in so you can thrive.
So you're just trying to keep your employees there all day so they're just selling and not leaving.
You put cots in one of the rooms. It's just a line of beds.
All bunk beds.
Yeah.
Oh, like they're in jail.
Yeah, literally. So I'm trying to give that platform to them. I do a lot of the training. We offer training through JB and TILRE to our referral partners. Because
so I was wondering I always say it was TILRE.
Yeah.
TILRE. Is that how, or is it doesn't matter?
I think I'm saying it wrong. I don't know.
All right. I want to make sure I wasn't wrong.
All
right, we'll just go with it.
I know what it stands for, but I just go with it. I think I pronounce everything wrong.
That's fine. We'll roll with it.
All right, good.
It sounded good.
So we're offering that up. We're just going after business in a different angle, and if I can help your brand and I help my brand, I help my L's brand, we know exactly where the business is going.
Right.
And to be quite honest, there's not another company out there that's focusing as hard as we're going with it, especially now going into the Entrepreneur Conference. No one else is literally, by the time we're done between the speakers, the event, the payroll ahead of it, and everything we're doing, we're literally throwing over $1 million event, and we're getting people who've never been to the island before. And this is just a stage for it. So on Wednesday, you signed up for it, right? We're doing the event at Chateau.
Yeah.
I'm doing a top producer event. I'm doing those 4 times a year. It's going to be 200 people plus every single time. As many people as I can fit into the place. That's
where they do body English, right?
Yeah.
So you're throwing a body English on a Wednesday.
Yeah. So I'm going to start doing those. I just want to build a community and network and in a different way. And between those events, no one else is going to do that many person. I'm not even charging for every other networking event. It's like, hey, let's go out to dinner. All right, $40. Let's go to this place, $50, $100, whatever it is.
Right.
I'm not charging for any of the networking events that I do. Obviously, the conference, to get those people here, it's a lot of money, and we got to do what we have to do.
Yeah, apparently we spoke.
To get them there. And, just the staff before, we're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in labor and staff
Listen, it's a lot of time, effort. It's it's a lot of shit that goes behind the scenes.
It's gonna be sick though, and I think after the first one, everybody's like, what happened to us is a lot of people on the outskirts like, what is this about?
All right, so let's drop some names.
Yeah.
Like we'll shout it out for the podcast. So Entrepreneur Conference, what's the date?
September 14th.
So September 14th.
The Space in Westbury.
The Space in Westbury, probably the biggest real estate entrepreneur event probably that ever hit Long Island, I would say.
Period.
Give us a little background about it, a little details, who's coming.
Yeah, so we're flying in. I think everybody in real estate should know him, but we're flying in Grant Cardone, Bradley, Tim Grover, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant's coach. Bradley's a badass. He does $100 million a year in his business. Kills
sick.
it.
Yeah.
Kills it.
Must be nice.
Right? Michael Burt, they call him America's coach. Guy's phenomenal. Rene Rodriguez, and he's pretty big in the mortgage industry. He trains a lot of mortgage professionals. He's the master of influence. The guy, when he gets on stage, he's going to steal your attention. And we have Jason Mitchell, who's a large real estate agent on the West Coast.
Right.
And, I'm not speaking much, but, myself and JB will be hosting it. And JB, he's the stage
Do you
man.
Do you go on before them so you don't feel like, they just listen to
before
all these good guys and then they got you guys at the bottom of the totem pole?
It's me.
So that's
we're
awesome.
We're throwing a sick after party afterwards, and we're already planning the next one. Like the next one, like we're taking it. If COVID didn't happen, this one would have been so much more out of control. But we're
you got to do what you can do. I think it's gonna be a great event. I think regardless if you're a realtor in the business for 2 months, you're real estate, you've been in for 20 years. Yeah. I think there's gonna be so much potential to learn that it's like a no-brainer for the amount of money that you guys are charging, a couple $100. If you want to buy the biggest ticket for $1,000, whatever the case may be, whatever, it's so worth it because that knowledge to get all these people in a room, like you said, these people are hundreds of thousands of dollars to bring into a room. You're never going to go get them yourself. You're going to hope to listen to their audiobook or you're going to listen to like them BS on Instagram. Yeah, like you're not going to be in front of them.
You have the chance to have lunch with them. You get the chance to be at the after party with them. It's just, it's a different community we're building. We have so many more plans where we want to bring Entrepreneur Conference and that group of individuals. Like, we have a bunch of stuff we're going to announce afterwards, like different VIP packages and subscription-based for, I'll jump into it a little bit, exotics. And I don't even want to go into too deep because I don't want to speak too soon, but we have a sick setup and a sick plan to build a community on Long Island of real estate, business in general. And I think between all our events, whether it's 1,000 person, next year it's going to be over 2,000 people. Whether it's a networking event with 200 plus people in it, we just want to put as many people as we can in the same room to network.
I don't know why I just thought about this right now, but is this still for LLS?
It's not.
That's how it started, right? For last year.
I was going for LLS. I was running for Man of the Year, and I was like, I'm going to do a Grant Cardone webinar because I don't know what's going on with COVID. So I do that, and now COVID lights up, and I said, let me start hitting up. I'll bait the webinar to pull people in, and I hired a marketing company. Full bust. No one signed up for the webinar. So I'm like,
webinars are tough.
This guy, it's half of what we talked about just to come on camera. And no one showed up. So I'm like, all right, now I got to go push back to the event. So I'm like, when I'm sitting there, it's like, what do I do at that point? I'm like, so I'm sitting there. I'm like, JB. So I started calling all the restaurants, all the catering halls, everybody I know. And they're like, it's everything's just opening up right now. Let me see what I can do.
People still were nervous.
So now I feel like, how do I go to the people that I'm actually like throw me a bone on a space, and they just came out of the worst time.
Right, they just took the biggest hits they probably have ever taken.
I can't. So I didn't have it in me. So I kind of I fell out of it, and I moved Grant Cardone to in person, and that's what led it. First, it was supposed to be the webinar, so I could raise money for LLS, and then it was just like, all right, I'm not losing the deposit I put in there. Let's get this guy here, and then it turned out to
let's build this big event.
Yeah,
that's wild stuff.
It wasn't COVID. We were going for like a 2,500 person place. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but we're gonna fucking do it.
Yep. So next year.
We're gonna do it.
That's sick. So, all right. So obviously the conference is gonna be good. If you didn't buy your ticket, buy your ticket now. Real estate. Let's go into real estate for a couple minutes. Obviously, everybody's talking how crazy the prices of houses are. On top of that, the rates are, you can't keep up with the rates. Every day they're up, they're down, they're up, they're down. What have you been seeing in the market? What are obviously you're following it, I'm sure, on a daily basis. What do you see going on? How long do you think this is really going for? Do you see it changing?
The biggest thing I see, so I think rates are fine. They're going to be low for a long time, and people think like the rates go up a quarter, and they're like, oh my God, they went up a quarter. They're still at all-time lows. What people don't realize is they're going, I can't pay that much money for that house. Why? Do you know that if you bought it in 2018 when rates were going into the fives at $100,000 less, your payment was more.
Yeah.
You're paying more.
People
at the end of the term of
people don't
no
realize,
clue.
and the crazy part is, people 2 years ago, people were at 4.5% interest rate, 4%. And you were
I
happy.
was selling fives.
Yeah.
I'm like,
You were
I got
happy.
into the mortgage business at the worst time of my life. Rates were going from 4s to 5s. I'm like, wow, this is shitty time.
Yeah, and these people were like 5%, like they weren't even happy. Now you tell somebody you're getting 3.25%, you're like 3.25%. Like, what do you mean 3.25%?
Yeah.
Like you're like, why didn't you tell me something that had a 2 in the front?
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
literally
what?
2.99 is my favorite rate because I just have to show them that
If you have a 3 in front, you give them a 3
Yeah,
flat,
hang it
they're
up
like,
on me.
nah, this guy told me 2.99. I'm going over there. It's like, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, so everybody who's watching and if there's any consumers looking to buy houses, the house is now costing you more money in the long term. Look at the amortization schedule. Look how much you're overall paying for the house with principal and interest and take it from there. And then you realize maybe when you have to go put in that $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 offer over X, you know, by the time you're ready to sell that house, listen, if you're buying a house for a short term and you're looking to sell in 2 to 3 years, maybe it's not a good time to buy that house for $100,000 over.
Yeah, listen, we don't know where the market's going to go in 2 years. Is it going to go down? Is it going to go up? Listen, it's the gamble in real estate. If short term, you never know.
But just look what's happened our whole, real estate's career. It started here. It's going to keep going with
Right.
inflation.
You just don't know if you're going to be on that downswing or upswing when it's your turn to
Exactly.
actually pull the trigger.
Exactly.
Now, rates. Everybody's so in on the rates, right? What do you see happening? Do you see Fannie and Freddie saying, "Listen, we got to put the market's just getting out of hand, and we have to raise these rates, so take away some of the buying power from these people, like to try to level out all these prices." Is that something that they even look into, or
they're going to eventually? So they already did it when it comes to investment loans. I don't have to tell you.
right? They're putting restrictions on a lot of stuff, right?
A lot of restrictions on everything. So they really want that non-QM or that untraditional alternative financing to come in and they're asking the hedge funds, like, guys, like, we don't want to buy this no more. And we realized we were in the non-QM market way before COVID. We were one of the players. Now we're coming back even stronger, and we see that. Now the hedge funds are coming up with these alternative financing loans to start picking up some of this way. Bank statement loans, debt service coverage loans, 1099 programs, P&L programs. You name it, they have everything for it. Asset depletion.
How are the rates on these programs?
Sick. I can get someone, I just quoted somebody, high 3s on a bank statement loan. He's buying down the rate a couple points, but high 3s.
So these are people that basically don't show W-2 income or don't have don't have a business.
None of that.
They're just showing like, I got money in the bank and I just need to deploy it to
A
it.
realtor like you, I can use 90% of your 1099s to qualify, and I get you a rate in the high 3s.
That's crazy.
How do you it's not even worth not deducting the money. You're gonna pay more on
Now,
taxes.
is it still the same like underwriting process as a mortgage, or is that like more similar to a hard money loan?
Same, they're still residential loans, so they go through the same thing. You got the same appraisal. It's just underwriting to that particular program's guidelines. It's the same thing.
It's crazy how many different programs are out there.
We actually just opened up Cloud. It's a division of Cliffco, and we're actually doing TPO and wholesaling for mortgage brokers. So a lot of the brokers on the island, people don't even know that the bank's actually going to be us in the back. So you go to these brokers, and it's a whole different model that actually nobody in the private mortgage sector on Long Island is doing. So I'm excited for it. We're letting the brokers make back in yield spread, and then they could charge their points, whatever the case is. And when it comes to those programs, it's a niche program. And instead of working with a larger bank, you could work with a private lender where you could call up the owners and be like, guys, work with me on this. You see that, and actually get your deal moved.
Right, because that's the difference between like you guys and you guys are direct lenders. You guys pretty much are able to, if it's something that works for you guys, you can kind of if maneuver it or talk to somebody that you can get away with something. You don't have to hit all these criteria and all these overlays because you have to worry about selling it off to somebody. You guys hold probably 90%.
I got to call somebody that's not in my office or across. Everything's right there for us.
So you think overall mortgage rates are going to stay?
I think
where they're at for a while, or
I think the whole market's good to the end of 2022.
Yeah,
maybe going to 2023, but 2022 we're solid. 22, I don't think we really see the rates go anywhere. I think in 2022, towards the end of this year and the beginning of next year, they're gonna do something.
So you think inventory wise, it's going to start increasing, and that'll help maybe mellow out the prices instead of the rates.
Exactly.
So more houses.
I think it's inventory, but you never know what's going on with the city right now. City's doing that. Do we get another push now?
That's what I'm saying. Like every time they shut down, do you think you're going to get the influx of people that leave the city to come out to the island?
Some people started going back.
Yeah, now they're like, oh, screw this. It's going to keep going back and forth.
Yeah,
like, let's get out of here.
On the appraisal, I see the rent schedules, right? And I have family that lives in the city, but I see the rent schedules, and you see them go up and you go down on the rent schedules because there was so much available.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's You really. I hope that doesn't happen here.
No,
because that's brutal.
Brutal.
I got like when we weren't like working, it was like people. Like, the weirdest thing doing a virtual showing. This guy, people making offers and buying houses without seeing the house. I'm like, you're spending $700,000. You're not even seeing the house. Like that's just
it's crazy. That makes no sense.
I couldn't do it. How these people are like, they're like, yeah, I'm in. Like, just put the offer in, and they go to contract.
People actually sold a house.
We sold 2.
Like that?
Yeah. I never would.
Did they go in the inspection? Like that's the only time they sold the house?
They didn't even go to the inspection.
It's crazy.
They just sent the company and they just saw the report.
You-
We had one guy bought a house from California.
That's crazy.
My partner sold it to him. He didn't even he went. He never met him once at closing. He didn't even go to closing. He just got the check. Never met this client once from start to finish.
It's crazy.
Like,
It's crazy.
like it's just wild.
Does it get better than that though?
No, it doesn't get better than that. I'll sign me up for that all day. Like I'll do that. Never have to do it. Anybody get paid. It's absolutely sick. So let's dive into now. Mortgage wise, we know where the rates are. Everything's staying the same, right? Do you think to grow, what are loan officers doing to really grow their business if the rates are staying the same? They can't get competitive with the rates. Everybody's pitching the same rates for the most part.
Yep.
Maybe a quarter point difference here or there. But, at the end of the day, for me, it's the service. Yep. You're going to go can you go to Teachers Federal Credit Union and get, an eighth of a point difference? Yeah, probably. But the service, you're talking to Joe Schmo that works 9 to 5. You're not listening to somebody that works 24/7, etc. What are you guys doing to really, separate yourselves, other than like the social media and stuff like that, to really pitch your deals that are bringing in a lot of your business that you're getting a lot of success with?
So the biggest, and we see it with this conference that we're doing, but the one thing I tell originators all the time, because I see it with my own staff, if I don't pay for it, they don't do it. I got a training program. I paid $30,000 for the team to train for a month with this mortgage sales trainer. And none of them, there was few that were interested and the other ones weren't. But those are the people that aren't investing in themselves.
Right.
And there's no secret formula to the mortgage business, except that there's tons. There's a million companies out there that train, and they all have the same system. You just have to put it to yourself. So in this type of market, when the rates are this low, it is just speed of service. You know what? Every bank right now is over the hurdle where they hired a bunch of people.
Right.
Now they're overstaffed. Everybody's got sick turn times.
Right.
Everybody has it.
They had a year they put all the people in place. Before it was brutal.
Yeah. Half the banks got situated once it started
dying down a little
the
bit.
refi started going away a little bit. So everybody has that right now, and it's literally just communication.
Speaking of refis, I just want to ask a quick question. Yeah. The rates being so low, like people were getting 2.5.
Yeah.
They were getting like 2 flats on like a 15-year when like it was like really bad. With the rates being so low, can there ever be like another refi boom? Because like, how are they going to go to 1%?
It's going to be cash out. They'll never go right. Those rate and terms got to be gone. It's only going to be cash outs now.
Right. Like, how are you ever?
So I think there's going to be a big cycle. I didn't do enough research on it to speak, but since you brought it up, now with rates so low, right, and people bought these houses at a high price, right? If you look at history in general, a certain criteria, a person always puts himself in debt, and a lot of the generations before us always use the equity of the home to wipe that out. And now if they're buying an all-time high and those interest rates are staying low, and now when they go to do that reset, now they're doing that reset on a house that they paid more money for to get a higher interest rate to cash that out. And I think in the years to come, maybe 10, 15, 20 years out, we're going to see a problem there. Who knows? By then, they're going to have like robots doing mortgages too. But
yeah, they may not need us at all.
No. But the mortgage business will always be that customer service business where you kind of need that touch because it's a big purchase.
Oh, 100%. I feel the same way. Everyone's so worried about Zillow, this and that. It doesn't. Someone always wants that physical person that's being there, guiding them through the process. That hands-on. They don't care about someone calling up and making an offer.
Always be needed.
Yeah, you always be needed, 100%. So, for people that are curious about the Entrepreneur Conference, they want to buy a ticket, they want to hear more about the event. They're looking to buy a house, or they just want to potentially cash out or refinance. How do they get a hold of you? How do they buy a ticket? How do they do it all?
So on Instagram, you can hit me at Riddle Mortgage. Go to cliffco.com and you can catch me. Entrepreneur Conference. If you go to entrepreneurconference.live, you can tune in. Our sales team is dynamite. They'll give you a call and get your ticket all situated. But guys, remember, and it's the same thing. I made a banner with it for the event on Wednesday. Your network is your net worth, and don't go cheap. to not be around a good group of people when it comes to these conferences. You know, I'm excited, like I said, for the next one and the next one and all the different people, but you got to spend.
Listen, you got to invest in yourself. You know, real estate, as you know, if you're a realtor, if you're a mortgage lender, everybody works. You're your business. So if you're not willing to spend any time, money to grow your own self, how do you expect to grow? You can't. Nothing's handed to you, right?
Nothing.
So you got to work for it, and sometimes work is putting in time, and sometimes work is spending some money.
Exactly.
You know, and sometimes you just got to open up the wallet, and if there's butterflies coming out, then use the credit card. So, you know, again, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. Anybody that's looking to buy or sell a home, you have, you know, mortgage related questions, you have a house that smells like dog shit, we have the people that want to buy it. Either way, give us a call all day, every day, 516-732-6398. Again, any questions mortgage related, real estate related, we'd love to help out. Until then, it's a wrap.